Before Sega decided to take on the power giant Nintendo in the early 90s, one company decided to take the challenge to say their game was better than Super Mario Bros. Sunsoft's Atlantis no Nazo, translating to Mystery of Atlantis, a brand new game in the emerging genre of side-scrolling platformer, boasting being better than Mario with the slogan, Ano Super Mario wo Kyota, translating to the game that surpassed Super Mario. Quite a bold statement, and from a company like Sunsoft. They would go on to make some fantastic games, but as for now, they've been putting out games that are pretty lackluster, terrible, or just not worth talking about. But who knows, it's been at least 5 months since their last title, and this is an original game for the Famicom. So let's see how well this surpassed Mario. It fucking sucks. Holy shit, I hope that boast helped it sell, because it's definitely not going to get any word of mouth help. A fine piece of Japanese kasuge reminding you the land of the rising sun is always not a great game pumping machine. But to be fair, there are a few positives I have to give it. For one, the theme of traveling around Atlantis is an original and decent idea. You play as an adventurer named Wynn, whose master is held captive at the end of the game. But the whole cave and spelunker aspect has pretty much been done, and not too great at that. And I gotta mention the structure of the game, for at least 1986, is innovating. It's built sort of non-linear, as some levels do have multiple exits that'll take you later into the game or find some sort of secret. Sadly, it'll probably just be worthless gold, but it's definitely the only real thing this game has going for it. However, that doesn't save the fact this game is just a hot mess of the Famicom library. First, the level design. Sunsoft definitely decided quantity over quality for this game, featuring a lot of levels that just have a single straight path with barely any obstacles or just a few enemies scattered here or there. Not to mention these cave levels which just get tedious with all the cliffs you have to jump over. Which brings me to the controls. I think Super Mario Bros. Taught us that even if you have some levels that are a little flat, nothing interesting, if you have great controls or better levels along the way, it really doesn't matter. And Atlantis barely tried. Depending on your walking speed, you'll either jump really high or barely at all. When you need to dodge enemies, that can be a real problem. Also, Mario pulled off a level with fish flying off screen much better. See this treasure chest? It should be easy to obtain if I slightly move Wynn off the cliff. Oh, excuse me. Wynn just automatically falls like he jumped off the side instead of falling straight down. Silly me, it's like I played some other platformer that programmed controls much better. Or this part where the designers put this side of the cliff that you need to jump on to complete the level too high and too far for a basic long jump. You'll try and try until you realize that you need to stand like as close to the edge, just a single pixel as possible, to work up the speed to reach that cliff. Fuckers! And that's not even scratching some of the weird ass design choices that I wasn't able to see playing this because I got so bored and frustrated of losing all my lives and starting at the very beginning. And for a game with 100 levels and no continues, that's just sad. Apparently sometimes you actually need to fall off the screen to reach some of the doors, and the secret level 42 is apparently a joke level where you enter it and just die. Now, why is this game so hard? Despite the controls and the level design, don't you have a weapon to make it easier? Yeah, you do have a weapon, a bomb of some sorts that only does two things to my knowledge. Opens doors and makes snails go into their shells. Do they kill anything in this game? Yeah. You! Were they just joking around, or was this really the best Sunsoft could do? If that's the case, I feel like I'm picking on some 9-year-old's art project. Like, really? Is that the best you can pick on? Some kid? To be honest, compared to Sunsoft's other output so far, I don't hate it as much as I do Super Arabian, which is just a train wreck of an arcade port, and maybe Route 16 Turbo. But in the state of original Famicom and NES games so far, this definitely ranks as one of the worst. So it begs the question, why was this one of the featured titles on the Famicom Classic Edition? Which the NES Classic Edition does have some questionable choices for games, and this has to be the most questionable. Does Japan really like this game so much to even be considered such a title of classic? Maybe, as America almost got this game under the title of Super Pitfall 2. Yes, a sequel to a game that hasn't even been released yet. It was scheduled to come out in 1989, but ultimately got cancelled. 1989, huh? I guess 1989 would be the year the NES got a bunch of games that were too out of date for release, yet some companies tried profiting off it.